come December 2nd. Join me as I welcome the Prime Minister of the Biafran government, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Biafra, His Excellency Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku. Prime Minister, over to you, sir.
Good evening, fellow Biafrans. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Good evening, followers, lovers of freedom, and friends of Biafrans. I welcome every one of you this evening as you continue to follow up and observe step by step the history that the Biafra people are making in this 21st century. My fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom that are all here today to listen to this emergency space briefing, I want you to understand that we must not allow evil to strive. In the absence of good people, the evil people will strive, and the life and property of our longer be secured and safe. Please, whoever that is calling me should stop calling. Am I coming out clear?
Very well, sir.
Thank you very much. My fellow Biafrans, as we dream for peace, remember that for us to achieve our aim of having lasting peace in our land, the good men must be ready to commit great violence upon evil men. And that's exactly what we are doing today. All of you that are fighting the terrorists of Nigeria with me, you are the good men. And I want you to understand that you are doing the right thing and you are on the right track. It is only when the good men remain silent that the evil will strive. Today, the Biafra people have chosen not to remain silent. The killings, animosity that the Biafra people have witnessed for many decades is coming to an end. It is not going to come to an end very easily. We have been fighting and fighting since 1967 officially. And today, this is the 20th or 21st of October 2024. We are still fighting. Over 50 years. Israel got independence many years ago, decade ago. Israel is still today fighting for peace. We are surrounded by enemies who doesn't love us. The enemies that hated us, and what did the Britain do? They joined us forcefully together with these enemies who don't like our religion, who don't like our culture, who don't like our ways of life, who don't like anything about us, who mock our dialects, they mock our languages, they mock our name, everything about us they hate. And for that reason, this generation that Simon Ekpa is very proud to be part of, have risen up to break the chains and free our older generation that are still alive and the unborn generation that is to come. I repeat again, peace will always remain a dream and can only be achieved when good men and women are ready to commit a great violence upon the evil men. Biafra have agreed and ready, they have been doing that, making sure that a great violence is meted upon the enemy that have been killing us for decades. And this violence is in self-defense. I want you people to understand many things that you don't know about Biafrans. And I'm going to use Igbo-speaking Biafrans for this scenario. While the other people in Nigeria enjoy something in common, conquests by killing and using violent or military strategies, it is only the Biafra people that have demonstrated to be peaceful. But in our peacefulness, we remain lions and lionesses that can never be conquered, and the enemy have tried severally and failed. We are no longer fighting to remain Nigerians. The difference is very clear. In the past, Biafrans fought to defend their land against conquest. And I want you to understand that this conquest is not just about the Fulani, Usman Dan Fodio, but there are also the Oyo Empire conquests. They took their sword and armory to other parts of the neighboring African countries because they know that Biafran, the eastern region of the Niger area, is a no-go area. We protected our land with our culture and the gods of our land. That was the weapon we used. Defile everything scientists manufactured, things that only the West has the power and the mental capability to manufacture. We refined oil with wood. Today, building oil refinery costs billions of dollars. We refine oil without a refinery. Do you understand the light you carry as a Biafran? When they tell you it is Igbo, it is Igbo, that is the spirit of divide and rule. I am here to tell you today, it is not just about Igbo, but it's about Biafra. It does not matter who gives you the name Biafra. What matters is that everyone who is an indigenous person, habitant in the old eastern Nigeria, is in agreement with the name Biafra. The enemies have used many propaganda in order to poison the mind of our people. What is Biafra? What do you know about Biafra? Who brings the name Biafra? And I'm here to tell you this evening. During the war, the entire people of the old eastern Nigeria that made up Biafra came together, refined oil, build weapons. So when they tell you Igbo, so that your head will get big, debunk it. It was not just Igbo, it was the entire Biafra people. Effiong was part of it. Of course, when we begin to talk about the lineage and the origin, everybody come and originated somehow from the Igbo-speaking Biafrans. But that's not where we are going to today. I want you to understand that while these other dangerously diversified groups were expanding their territory by conquest, by killings, maiming, Biafrans that are known to be very peaceful people, even as peaceful as we are, our land, the old eastern Nigeria, was a no-go area. Ask yourself why. Because our forefathers understood the power they possess. The Biafra people historically expanded through gradual migration, moving from their heartland in the old eastern Nigeria to a new area in search of fertile land for farming, water sources, and trade opportunities, while others were coming with horses and chariots and cows to kill, maim, and take over land. Biafrans were merely relocating for trade. The migration was often, not just often, but all the time, very peaceful. We go and we buy land to establish new settlement, which is buying land, building your house as a Biafran. Majority will say the Igbo-speaking part of Biafra. These people that we are all proud of did not just have a centralized military force like the Oyo empires did, which is today they settled in many, many countries in West Africa by invasion. So their expansion was not characterized by large scale of migration. Rather, it was characterized by the scale, welfare, and territorial conquest. While the Biafra people expansion were not characterized by large scale of welfare and territorial conquest, rather by investment. Biafra community acquired land by negotiating with neighboring groups and establishing mutual beneficial relationship. I want you to understand that when they tell you that Igbos or Biafras are in Kano, in Lagos, I want to address that issue today. The difference. When they tell you you are doing business in Kano, why can't the Fulani come to your land? You have places there, you build a house there. I want to explain it tonight before I actually address the reason for this broadcast, which is the civil disobedience of the Biafra people. In many cases, Biafra settlers would have to integrate with the local population, adopting and influencing cultural practices through peaceful interaction. It is only Biafran that can go to your land and speak your language, embrace your culture, behave like you, just to be peaceful and accommodating. This particular practice attracts sharply with other ethnic group getting envious of our culture and way of life. I want you to understand that it is only the Biafra people that has what we call the land tenure and the farming system. It is the most prosperous process and system in land procurement. Practice anywhere in the world, Biafrans have the best structure and system of land tenure. And I will explain it to you. The Biafra people have traditionally practiced communal land ownership, where land was not owned by individual. Are you aware of that? We actually set up what many governments in the world today are practicing. Before the coming of the white man, the people already have a system in Biafra called the land tenure system, where land was not owned by individuals but held in trust by the community or extended families. As I'm talking to you today, even with the bastardizing of our culture and way of life, this land tenure system still strongly exists within the Biafra land today. This communal approach allowed for the equitable distribution of land among members of the families. And as the population grew, new settlements were founded to accommodate the expansion of, as the family expand. Today, the system of the nomadic of Nigeria terrorist state has bastardized our land tenure system, where the only target of the Nigeria terrorist state is to use the government that was not voted in by the people to grab the land from the Biafra communities. And I am telling you today, this land grabbing is happening only in Biafra territory, not nowhere else. Only in Biafra territory. Do you know why? They used these puppet governors, politicians, to continue to destroy everything that defined the Biafra people. And one of them is the land tenure system, where governor who was not elected by the Biafra people to represent them will be used by the Fulanis to continue to grab land and begin to assign land to people who are aliens without due process, without the approval of the people. I want you to understand how the culture, the peace that we enjoyed, our forefathers enjoyed, have been destroyed. Because land, ownership, and the tenure system was the basic and the base and the foundation of peace in Biafra territory. Today, it has been destroyed by Nigeria system. And that's why as soon as Biafra become an independent state, we fall back to the land tenure system, where the people will be at peace, where you will not go and start killing your fellow brother or your fellow neighbor because of land.